It is said that the judicial officer sets the tone in the courtroom. Let us see whether there is any difference when the judicial officer has a different attitude.
Rise in court.
Please be seated.
The matter is for trial. The accused has pleaded not guilty on a previous occasion, and the state is ready to call the witness.
Your Worship, I confirm that I represent the accused person and the defense is ready to proceed.
Prosecutor, having perused the charge sheet, it is stated thereon that this is a matter in terms of the Combating of Domestic Violence Act. Would you seek to apply the provisions of Section 153, subsection 2A of the Criminal Procedure Act?
Yes. Since this is a case of a domestic violence matter, the state requests that the matter be held behind closed doors.
No objection, Your Worship, as it pleases the court.
Thank you. It is then ordered that this case will be heard behind closed doors, as provided for in Section 153, subsection 2A of the CPA. Can the gallery be cleared, please?
May you leave the courtroom, please?
It will also appear that this is a vulnerable witness in terms of Section 158A, subsection 3. Will the witness require special arrangements in terms of Section 158A, subsection 2?
It is correct, Your Worship. A witness is a person against whom violence is alleged to have been committed by a spouse. As per the definition of a vulnerable witness laid down in Section 158A, subsection 3C of the Criminal Procedure Act. I've also consulted the witness, and she indicated that she is afraid to be in the same place as the accused. It is requested that she testifies outside the courtroom using CCTV as provided for in subsection 158A, subsection 2D. She also indicated that she would prefer to have a support person provided for in section 158A, subsection 2C, and she requests that her sister supports her. We wish to apply that she accompanies the witness as she is present at this stage. We call on Ms. Jane Titus.
Your Worship, we have no objections to any of the applications made by the state, and we have no objections to Ms. Titus accompanying the witness during her testimony, as it pleases the court.
As the witness is a vulnerable person as provided for in Section 158A, subsection 3, having to testify against her spouse in a domestic violence matter, the special arrangements requested in terms of Section 158A, subsection 2C and D will be allowed. The witness can testify from a separate room using the CCTV system and with a support person, namely Ms. Titus. Can we check the CCTV equipment? Good morning, Ms. David and Ms. Titus. Are you ready? Can you hear us?
Yes, Your Worship. Good morning.
Yes, Your Worship.
Ms. Titus, as support person, it will be appreciated if you would alert me if Ms. David is in distress. You can give her physical comfort, but you cannot assist her in any way to answer questions unless you need to alert me. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Worship.
Ms. David, are you comfortable? Can we get started?
Yes, Your Worship. We may. Thank you.
Yes, Your Worship. We can hear and see you.
Can everyone in the courtroom hear and see the witness and court support system?
Yes, Your Worship, I can see and hear them both clearly.
Your Worship, I can see and hear them both clearly, but may I approach my client so that I can just confirm that he's able to see and hear the witness? Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Your Worship. We are good to go.
Thank you. Then we can proceed. Good morning, Ms. David. Please state your full name.
Elizabeth David.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? And if so, raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
The other hand, ma'am.
So help me God.
Ms. David, can you tell us what happened?
Yes, Your Worship. We were at home, my husband, the accused, and our 3 children, aged 5, 3, and our last born, who is 8 months old, Your Worship. We were all having lunch.
Ms. David, you can have a moment. Just let us know when we can proceed. There is water if you need some.
My husband started swearing at me, saying that I should learn how to make food because he cannot be married to a woman that cannot cook properly. And I got upset because he's always emotionally abusing me, and he always cheats on me, even though I try to always make the best meals for him.
Your Worship, I think the witness might need a minute.
Would you like a minute?
Thank you, Your Worship. I would like to continue. Your Worship. He then threw the food in my face, and he said that I'm a useless wife. And out of anger, I also told him that he's also useless. This made him very angry, and he pulled me off the chair. I fell to the floor, and he started to kick me. He pulled me by the braids, and he pulled them out completely. I'm sorry. He then pulled my skirt down and he raped me. I said several times that he should stop, but this just upset him. And he really hurt me. He then left and went to his friends. And I called my mother, who then took me to the hospital where I was admitted for 3 days.
Did you sustain any injuries?
Yes, I have a scar on my forehead, and it was an open wound. I received stitches at the hospital. My left eye was also swollen and blue. I also had open patches where he had pulled out the braids on my head.
No further questions.
Cross-examination by the lawyer for the accused.
Miss David, were you sober on that day?
Objection, Your Worship. How is this of any relevance?
Your Worship, I hold instructions that the witness was intoxicated on that day and that she might not be able to remember clearly of the incidences that happened on the alleged day, Your Worship.
Objection overruled. The witness may proceed to answer.
I drank 3 glasses of champagne because it was Christmas Day and my husband had bought champagne.
Why did you call your husband useless, Miss David?
I didn't mean to make him angry. I mean, he just had my feelings when he called me useless.
Were you angry or were you too drunk to remember what happened on that day?
I was angry.
So you were drunk and you were angry.
I was not drunk.
Did you or did you not just admit to this court, Miss David, that you had 3 glasses of champagne on that day?
Yes.
Objection, Your Worship. This is speculative. The mere fact that the witness drank 3 glasses of wine does not necessarily render her drunk. The witness already testified that she was not inebriated, but the legal representative accuses her of being so.
Your Worship, I'm merely trying to establish the truthfulness of the witness's testimony, Your Worship.
You have asked the question and the witness has answered. I have to agree that you are repeating the questions, and it would appear that cross-examination is being protracted unreasonably, causing the proceedings to be delayed unreasonably as well. Thus, and in accordance with the provisions of Section 166, subsection 3A, I would direct that you move from this question and no longer pose any questions to Ms. David pertaining to whether she was inebriated.
If the court pleases, Your Worship, I will move on. Ms. David, I hold instructions that my client did not assault you. He merely pulled you off of the chair after you called him useless.
He called me useless first. I then reacted by doing the same. He pulled me off the chair and then started to repeatedly kick me. I was admitted in hospital for these injuries to be treated, and I have permanent scars. And he also raped me.
You wanted some expensive pieces of jewelry on that day, and you did not like the necklace that he bought you. And so you made all of this up just so that you can accuse my client.
No, that is not true. I was not angry about the necklace.
I put it to you that you were not assaulted or raped on that day, Miss Davis. This is merely a vendetta on your part. You are accusing my client falsely. He did not do anything of the sort.
No, that is not true and not what had happened.
No re-examination, Your Worship. The witness may be excused.
Thank you, Ms. David. You are excused and your testimony is done. Ms. Titus, thank you for assisting a support person. You are excused as well.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Your Worship, the state wishes to hand in as an exhibit the Section 212 medical legal report that was completed by Dr. Samuel Thompson at the Windhoek State Hospital on the 25th of December 2021, and it indicates the injuries. The defense had received a copy of the report.
Thank you, Your Worship. We have had sight of the medical report that has been handed up, Your Worship, and I have discussed it with my client. We have no objections to the handing up of the medical report, Your Worship, as it pleases the court.
It is then accepted into evidence and marked Exhibit A.
Thank you, Your Worship. The state closes its case and will not call further witnesses.
I'm so sorry this happened to you. What happened to you is not okay. I hope you will be able to forgive us, the family. We do not condone this kind of behavior. I will always be your sister.
Thank you so much for being here. It wasn't easy, but knowing that you were here gave me the courage that I needed to fight, not just for my children and I, but for all the other victims of domestic violence out there. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. Yes.
The judicial officer in this scenario conducted the court proceedings with dignity, treated the witness and the accused with respect and courtesy. It is evident in the scenario that the judicial officer is in control of the court proceedings. We also consider the initiative to render support persons to the witness. The court is alive to the dynamics of a domestic violence vis-a-vis victims and perpetrators. Court explains what needs to be done and how support persons should proceed. The judicial officer did not allow the witness to be badgered during cross-examination. Other role players also had a different attitude, more respectful. They took cues from the judicial officer on how to behave and treat witnesses in court. Did you observe any judicial stereotyping in this example?